Hey guys, Bo here with Beauviarts. Thanks for tuning in. And today I have something kind of cool. This is from a guy named Roberto. This is his first digital art piece. And my last video, I basically asked anyone to, if you feel lack of confidence or direction, to send me your art, and I'll try to point you in the right direction, and light a fire under you, learn you some good stuff. So that's what we're doing today. We're looking at this. Now, this is usually something that I offer to my patrons. So if you would so kindly visit my Patreon down below and support me. Now, the real benefit there is I'll critique your work, but there's also a Discord chat community that my patrons have access to. And I'm on there just about every day, and I'll peek my head in there, talk, we shoot the breeze, BS, we have a lot of fun and laugh at each other and act silly, but we're also very serious about art, all very passionate. And I've seen the artists in this Discord chat. They've just grown tremendously. So thank you to my patrons, and I would advise you to join us, and it's going to be a lot of fun, right? So that being said, there's a few things I want to talk about in this piece, a few areas of opportunity. Open up a couple new layers here. One of them we're going to turn to multiply. And, for your first piece, I don't think it's that bad. I think you did a lot of good things here. I think that, sorry, bad cough. I think that right off the bat, you spent a lot of time rendering the image with blending in things, and I think that you probably spent a lot of careful time on the eyes, drawing them out. And Roberto's complaint to me was that he just wasn't really excited about the final image, right? So I can see that you have a couple of references here, and I don't know if this is somebody, if you pulled this up off the internet, but you need to be using references. If you're not, if you are, you need to use better references, and I'll kind of talk to you about that. So you need to be using references that have strong lighting. So not just something that's flat like this, because that's what's going on here. Is there's not a great difference of value. And remember from my last video, we talked about value. Value is just the range between light and dark. And when something has a great variance of value, a 2D image looks 3D. That's just the way it goes. And we'll demonstrate that here in a minute. So if you're doing character design, which is what it looks like you're doing, or portraits or something, I always recommend my people that hang out on my chat they're going to make fun of me, but John Singer Sargent. So look up John Singer Sargent, because concept artists love this guy. One, he's a master. And two, he did a lot of his portraits really quickly. 3 to 4 hours he did a lot of these. So when you look up a reference, you want to look up something that has really interesting and dynamic lighting. So right here we have strong shadows, right? We have skin that kind of has a purplish hue, purple, blue, violet kind of hue. You can also tell that he has really broad brush strokes. So if you look at a lot of concept art, look, this is one brush stroke, one brush stroke, one brush stroke. So if you look at a lot of concept artists, including stuff that I do, this is something that we kind of take after. So look at him, try to emulate one of his portraits as best as you can, doing colors. Really, I want you to be doing black and white, just grayscale images first, because you're not actually the worst that I've seen on color, but it's just easier to start at grayscale. I know that when you open up digital art, it's really overwhelming. You don't know where to go. You've got the internet, you type in art tutorial and like 6 billion things pop up. And that's another thing. Make sure that you're only kind of following and obeying like a handful of your favorite artists, because if you're subscribed to 100 different people, you're going to get 100 different messages and end up at a destination that you probably didn't expect. It probably won't be as beneficial as if you just hone in on 4 or 5 different people that you really like. So go be my patron. All right, no, just kidding. So I'm going to open up 2 layers. One's normal, one's multiply. Multiply is good for making things darker. Observe. So 100% opacity, multiply. Really dark, right? It makes things darker when painted over. So we're going to use this for some shadows, because you've given the implication that light is coming from kind of straightforward, but a little bit up, right? So if this is a ball, yeah, it's going to be like it's hitting hardest right there. So that being said, you've already got the right idea. I could tell where you were making some shadows, but you were too scared to take it all the way. So we're going to fix, actually this is bothering me here. So there's anatomy issues here. The lips are a little wonky, so look up some references of that. And this nose is way too thin on the nostril area. See? Like, it's a little bit flat right there, so we're going to bring that up. So let's take this about 60% opacity, and we're just going to paint over. We're going to paint right over on the normal layer. We're going to give it more of a, that's fun, more of a bulb look. Right? The end of your nose is kind of a ball. And maybe this is somebody, you know, was this Natalie Portman? Who is this? Just kidding, I don't know. So this won't be a perfect paint over. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but you know, I do want to fix these issues for you. So let's also make the nostrils a little bit larger. I think that from seeing straight on this, that you would see more of the nostril, just a little bit. So we're just going to make them a little bit larger, right? Alright, so not a perfect nostril, but not terrible either, right? So let's lighten this up a little bit. And you can do, you know, I'm not going to make this look beautiful, but you can do like different makeup colors and play around with colors when you go to multiply and like do some lighting and stuff, because then you'll kind of get a bland image. Like what I'm doing actually, like here, we can turn this blue, or if you want, and have something a little bit more interesting, but actually let's go red. Let's go like red or pink with it. There we go. A little bit more. A lot of this is just playing around with colors, see what you get. Alright, there we go. That's kind of nice, a nice skin tone. So let's go underneath these eyes. If your light's coming from up here, then you're not going to get any light under here. You know, it needs to be a little bit darker. So let's do that. And I see that you, to point out that you have the eyelid shadow. It's good. Also, your eyes, looks like you, I don't know if you, it looks like you might, I don't think you're subscribed to Istabrack. I checked, but it looks like this is an Istabrack study. She's also really good with like this particular thing, so you might check that out. And then come down here. You're not going to catch any light down here. You know what? This needs to be a little bit darker, like less saturated too. Changed my mind a lot. Saturation, by the way, is this is saturated. This is not saturated. So it's essentially richness in color, okay? So you're not going to catch any light down there. Let's delete a little bit. Little information there. I can't talk today. And then there's going to be a little bit of shadow right there, right? Just a little bit. You can erase out a little bit if you want. But yeah, you're going to have some pretty dark shadows. If the light is that bright, then the shadows are going to be pretty dark, right? So make sure that you get that right. And just by doing this, if you look, we've already made a really really interesting image happen. You know, I mean, we've taken something that looked pretty flat and we've given it a lot of dimension just by adding these cast shadows and stuff. So down here, you can hold down shift, by the way, and give yourself a straight line. Don't know if you knew that. So add one right there, right? It's kind of crappy, but also the top lip. So lips are kind of shaped like that. So if your light's coming from up here, then right here, which is this area, isn't going to get light, so you can fill that in. So what do you think of that? It's like magic, right? It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, this becomes a little bit more interesting. We've got some dynamic lighting happening, right? Also, we can, these corners of the mouth tend to, usually where they meet, it's a little bit darker there, right? So just doing that, and then you can do some bags under the eyes because, you know, why not? I do a lot of deletes. That's a little bit too much. Let's do like a 10%. Just depends. And then by giving the bags under the eyes just a little bit, and then you can even blend it in here. That's going to help kind of set into the cheekbone area, right? And give just more of an interesting look. If you know, it kind of makes them look more tired too. There's also, there's more to the eye. This is kind of a flat eye, so there's some things happening with eyes down here. You could probably give like a little bit of eyeliner or whatever. Why is that so crooked? There we go. Here, let's go to normal layer. I'm not really liking how that's turning out. A little bit darker too. If you want to make a girl look pretty, just kind of a rule of thumb, thicker eyeliner will do that. I'm like really shaky right now. I have hypoglycemia, so I shake and I like have to drink orange juice or something like that to stop shaking. I actually have a little program called Lazy Nezumi Pro that corrects that. If you're like really shaky with lines and stuff, it helps with that. So you'll see me delete a lot. I've talked about that a little bit before, but that's kind of what's happening right now. I'm just like all of a sudden really, really shaky. So let's do this. Give her some more interesting eyes. And this is a little bit excessive probably, but that makes girls look prettier when you're drawing them. And just by doing these things, we've already kind of spruced up this image, right? See, we've gone from that to that. So, yeah, those are the things I think that really you need to work on. Now let's actually check I don't know if I can check the levels. Let me see. Probably not. I don't think we can check them all together. I'll try. Control L. No, it's not going to let me. Point being is we've given darker information on the piece of art here, and it's given more of a three-dimensional image, and I think that's where you're really lacking. I think that you spend some more time with this, or just start over. Really, that's what I really recommend, is just starting from scratch. You're gonna have some cool stuff. You can also do. I've talked about white being the hottest light source, so we can go a little bit lighter. We want to go kind of like off-white, and you can give some specular lighting. That's what it's called on the eye. Let's go right here on this layer. That's probably a little bit too much, actually, but it gives the impression that light is hitting the eyeball too, and it also sells the form of the eye being a little bit darker. You can come in here and I'll just show you all the cool things you can do, right? You can play up on this shadow, this eyelid shadow a little bit better, right there, right? We're on our multiply layer right now. Kind of coming in the corner of the eye too. A lot of times, well, most times, the eye is going to have kind of the redness near the tear duct, so you can get like a nice little red color here. And right there in the corner, maybe kind of come down under here a little bit, because if you ever done that weird thing where you flip your eyelid inside out? It's red under there, right? So you can kind of give like the impression of red, but there you go. That will start you out. Just keep at it, keep at the references, and I hope this was helpful. Feel free to visit my Patreon, become a patron for me. I would really appreciate it. Even a little bit helps, and it's going to help you a long way too, alright? Well worth the dollar. Keep reaching out to me, send me your art. If you want me to try to do something like this, I'll try to make time for it. And thanks, Roberto. Good luck. Let me know how this helped you out in the comment section below. And take care, everyone.